Hey everybody, it's Tony Vicinda here, Chief Alchemist at Plus One EXP. We're a funny little brand that multi-classes in tabletop game design, beard and skincare alchemy, and the Bardic College of Content Creation. I do love that last joke, and I hope everybody else does also too. I don't know if people do or not. I don't know if people get it or not. I do have a note into a couple different people I know who create for Old School Essentials and a couple of other OSR systems who are working on creating a content bard. What does that mean? We're going to find out, and then we're going to release it for free as a Old School Essentials compatible character archetype. Hey, if it's your first time, we are just every day during February, we are cruising through a number of, that number is around 10 usually, Zine Quest projects. We're looking at them, we're talking about them, we're talking about what we love about them, asking questions, and then backing some of them. Just because we back a game doesn't mean it's a game you should back, though we certainly like it. Just because we don't back a game doesn't mean it's a game that you shouldn't back. Zine Quest, as much as it may feel like it, is not a competition to see who can back the most zines in February, nor is it a competition to see who can raise the most money in February, because Bucket of Bolts is going to win that again. Way to go. Mousehole Press is going to run away with another phenomenal Zine Quest victory if Zine Quest was a competition, but it's not. It's not. Riley, drop me a link. Castaway has been on my list. I don't know if I pulled it up. Drop me a link in the chat. I will add it to today's lineup. But a couple things I'm looking for is the flavor. Like, do you tell me right away what the theme and the feel of this game are? Does the art and the images right at the top of the page do that? Some overall things about the structure of the Kickstarter. Sometimes after that flavor piece, I really like a direct sell of here's what this is. And then I just kind of look through them. I'll hit back or save or a couple things. I'll come back and back them later. Usually lots of the times I forget. So if you see me click back on your game and you don't see me follow up on that, I may have just changed my mind. You can feel free to reach out to me and say, hey, Tony, you forgot to finalize your backing. And I might say, well, I just don't have money anymore, or other things like that. So anyways, we're going to dive into it. Hey, it's Neon Lords is watching also. Repugnant, our game, before I forget, right down below me, Repugnant RPG, ttrpg.link/grossrpg will take you to our Kickstarter follow page. Would love to have you follow that. We'd love to have you back us when we launch next Monday. I am so as excited as I have been about this project with John's art pieces he's done in the last couple days, some of which were essential to figure out the final mechanics of how things are going to work for our covered in chit system. I'm so excited about. Please click follow on our campaign. We'll talk about that a little bit more at the end, maybe. These are the most recent projects released on Kickstarter. We've already backed some of them. Some of them we're talking about today. Some of them we haven't. I don't know if this one's on my list yet. It is going to get talked about whether it's today or another time. And it's already funded. Way to go, Chris. But here's the most recent one. Some of them are on our list. Some of them aren't. First and foremost, before we hop into the Zine Quest projects specifically, I do want to give a shout out. Somebody asked me about this online earlier today. I'm already a backer. I backed at the $35 level. This is R-Shores. It's an RPGC collective project. What's RPGC? It is a Pacific Island, largely, and Asian creator combination of games. And so this is 3 different games. I've seen either quick starts or full setups of most of these games. Some of them have already been available. It's a phenomenal series, and we need to be backing a lot of creators in other parts of the world. A lot of people know about the Sweden OSR scene. A lot of people love the OSR and indie stuff that's coming out of Brazil. But the OSRC, the RPGC scene is phenomenal. I'm super excited about all of these projects. If you haven't checked it out, please go do. I think you're really going to enjoy it. We are going to be doing some actual play stuff with them later on this year. We're going to get some of the team members on to play these games, what they funded, but I would love to see them unlock some more stretch goals and more content. But let's get into the Zine Quest projects here. All right, first up, we have Children of Dust. This one has captured my attention every single time I've scrolled by it. They are making excellent use of the one color rule in their image, because even though it might look like they're using multiple colors, these are all shades of blue, which is the same thing we did with brown for Beards and Beyond before we upgraded to the full color option last year in Zine Quest 2. This is really good use of taking one color and representing it in a lot of different tones to still follow the rules of Zine Quest. But the image itself, I think, is evocative and beautiful. I love the title. It's a survival RPG. Let's find out more about it. First created Zero Backed. So Zero Backed is kind of a question mark. Like, do you understand RPGs? But it's also could be that these are people who are active in the scene in other ways. That they do understand Kickstarter. This is never a no for me. Can kind of be a red flag. But I picked this game because I liked it. But my advice to you, even if you're launching a game for the first time, go have your project page management, whatever, back 3 to 5 games before you launch, just so everybody can see that you are an active and real group of people. It's a rules-light tabletop RPG about surviving in a society that hates you. It's a group of kids who escaped a genocide and the destruction of their country. Players have to deal with living in a city where most people hate them because of what they are or risk their lives in an ever-changing and incredibly dangerous forest of Mefard, tainted by the illegal alchemical weapons used during the war. Okay, so first of all, that theme, I have 2 thoughts. One, I want to know about this illegal alchemical war immediately. Secondly, we got to be really careful when we're playing on themes with this, especially with kids. But I do want to see more about this. I just want to make sure it's nothing that would be especially triggering to anybody. But man, check out these images. So this is based, this is an FITD system, Forged in the Dark. Or it's Dungeon World, but like that typically translates a little bit more to Forged in the Dark than it does to PBTA. I'm loving the look of these things. 64 A4 format. There's a lot of great things happening here. I'm liking this. What are you guys' thoughts about it? Adam, drop me a link and I will add it to the end of the list. Your friend's game Wisp. They are dealing with themes of racism. So the question is always going to be, how is that handled? And that's what I want to know more about. I'm going to hit just follow on this for now. I'm very excited about it, but I want to come back. I want to give it a little bit more time when I know how they're dealing with those themes specifically. Because on our channel for our actual plays, we always line racism as a trope and only allow it underneath for a veiled circumstance when it's a force we are pushing back against. And so that's any form of prejudice. So I do want to know more about that and how they're doing it. It looks like they're doing it right. But I do want to know more. So I'm excited about that project. Okay. Best, they didn't even use it on their page as far as it looks like so far. Best 30-second stinger for any game was What We Give to Alien Gods. It just phenomenally soundscaped, really excellently done. This is another phenomenal Mothership project. It's by Lone Archivist, who I absolutely love. I'm getting really into Mothership lately and want to play more and more of it. So we got some more tips. We've got the stretch goals here laid out really well. It's a solid page, good mix of visuals, good timeline, letting me know about fulfillment and shipping. All right. So, flavor. Beyond the reaches of starlight is the decimane of alien gods. What locus of extraterrestrial reverence must the fathoms host? Explore the abandoned temple adrift the middle of the Bermuda Triangle like nebula. Search for the source of interdiction fields that rip ships traveling through the sector out of FTL jump space. Discover the secrets of ancient structures once devoted to the worship of an extraterrestrial entity betrayed and imprisoned by an alien species that once revered it. I love the amount of like occult and religious themes that are popping up in Motherships. It feels like it's softening some of the edges around the hard sci-fi setting, and I'm absolutely down for that. Brett Vance, you should play Mothership with me. Let's do it. Let's figure out a time. Let's figure out some players. Let's make it happen. I love the guys over at Tuesday Night Games. I love Lone Archivist. We are going to back this. Usually for modules, I'll go in at a digital level only. This does look especially beautiful, but I think that's where we're going to click for right now, and then we'll come back and figure that out. All right, Token. Me and the creator of this have messaged back and forth a little bit. They just funded. They just crossed the funding line. Look at that. I have not watched this video yet. Let's check it out. I'm going to kill the audio from the music in the background because it's just very low. But let's hear this. Let's check this out. Let's see what they've done. This is a 2-player game. it's rooted in trophy. We won't finish. I only usually give videos about a minute on stream. So We've Attracted Tale Token is a game about a hero and a monster circling each other in a haunted forest, offering gifts and signs of their intent. The story ends when they meet face to face with one another at last. It's a one-shot GM-less duet game inspired by darkness, fairy tale, and folklore. Token reflects the symbolic objects or gestures that express what words cannot, offerings, gifts, and the promises of something more. Play as the Seeker, a failed hero with a haunted past, or the Dweller, once a human, now stalking the forest in their monstrous form. I want to play this. I want to play this right now. Gabriel, I've talked to you about maybe coming on and doing a stream with me one time once they were up and going. So hopefully we can make that happen. I'm a big fan of motif building, or theme building in games, and this kind of token exchange process is absolutely that. I have not played Trophy Dark yet. It's on my list to play. I'm hoping that we can get Jesse Ross to come on, the creator of the game, and do it for us. I did back at a massively too expensive level and then put in more add-ons in the backer kit. I'm very excited about the game. I want to play Trophy real bad, and so this might be my step in. We are going to back this. This one is not a question for me. I want to look at the levels. A pair of tokens, forest song. At this tier, you name, or your name or that of your character will be added to the table of famed heroes in the land at $40. Ooh, that's tempting. Custom token scenario. They'll write a scenario for me. All right, we're going to click just the physical level. I may come back and upgrade. So one thing I'll note from my backing this year, I'm backing less projects. I actually am. It may seem weird, or maybe I'm not. I'm probably backing just as many or more. But I'm either backing at $1 or I'm backing at much higher levels. Far fewer that I'm backing at just the physical pledge. I'm either dropping down to PDF or $1, or going up to a premium tier typically, which is probably working out to about the same amount of money. I desperately hope. So, all right, Mech Tech. Here's a couple reasons this got featured. One, somebody asked me to cover it. They're in the group. They wanted me to show it some love. I absolutely want to do it. It's in the RPG Zines group. However, people are putting this game on blast on Reddit, which is not an uncommon thing on Reddit. However, they're putting it on blast because there's other games that exist like it. So why does this game need to exist? Creators create things that they are excited to make, and you don't need to yuck anybody else's yum. Like, you don't need to go in and basically say, like, this already exists somewhere else. Now, if they're ripping something off, if they're being derivative, that's one thing. But if somebody's built something, even if something similar exists, if the same genre exists, if similar roles exist, I mean, there's no reason to say that, hey, because a game was created 40 years ago that does this, that this game should not exist. It's one of the dumbest things I've ever heard. And somebody said that to this creator. So I would love you guys to show them some love. This is Mech Tech. It's a tabletop role-playing game where you mix and match parts to build your own mech and fend off alien invasions, which I don't believe that. I believe that conceptually happened, like, in games previously. I'm willing to bet in a Zine weight game, this is going to be done in a lighter, more fun format. The year's 2111 professional mech battles have become a popular form of entertainment around the globe, and the best pilot and their mechs become household names. Just as the highly anticipated World Mech Championships are gearing up, they arrive. No one knows who they are or where they're from. The mysterious race of aliens sporting their own mech suits have invaded Earth. The United Governing Body of Earth, IGB, have put on out the call for aspiring mech pilots such as yourself to join the ranks and stand up against the alien invaders to save the planet. This is also, like, this is a good example of, like, this art is not like high-end art, but this artist embraced, like, this is what we can and want to do, right? I love this crew drawn style, because here's what this is. I can draw this, and if the concept is that I'm going to create a mech with random cast off pieces and then I'm going to draw it and represent it physically, an art style that shows me that I can draw well enough to do my character sketch encourages me to do my character sketch. Excellent job. Love that gif. GM and 3 to 5 players, pledges from $5 to $15. I'm not a huge mech head. We're going to do the mech fist bump on this level because I want this guy to get backed today. Maybe we'll come back and do more later. There's some stretch goals being unlocked, but go show this project Mech Tech some love. Thanks, Michael, for making it. Thanks for sharing it. Yeah, I mean, I would love to support you more any way that we can. Go check out their game. Puzzle Dungeon. This video we are going to watch. I may even flash forward in this video a little bit because I really love what this individual did with their videos. So this is a puzzle dungeon, the Seer's Sanctum, a puzzle box dungeon adventure that's eye-flying fun for the whole table. The levels of dad humor in this game are excellent.
Hello, I'm Direct Sun. I'm here today to talk to you about Eyeballs. An eyeball-themed adventure dungeon. Heavy on puzzles, called Puzzle Dungeon, the Seer's Sanctum. We've had literally 2 requests for a print version of this, and I'd like to see that become a reality. We've got great reviews from one blogger, Bryce Lynch of 10 Foot Pole. He says that it is the best and could use improvement.
So the humility of this and the honesty, like this scene, we're going to go through this scene.
The dungeon is specifically designed for ease of use at the table. Everything's conveniently laid out on 1 to 2 page spreads. So you also have to do minimal reading and prep time ahead because there are bolded words, things to draw your eye and get your attention and remind you what the hell you're doing running a D&D game.
Okay. I'm going to cruise through a little bit.
So the digital version of
There's some more of these. They're just absolutely adorable. He's made some eyeball things. He's got his dog in the background there.
Back with rewards.
Keeps these little bloopers in. But here's the end. It's him videotaping on his phone. Well, it's his wife videotaping him on his phone, doing the video he's just doing. But check out that baby. Go support this guy's baby. Make sure that baby has diapers. Like, just having kids isn't a reason that I'm gonna support your game, but this guy, after the high levels of puns and dad humor, I really appreciated the actual appearance of the child at the end. Anyways, 10 dungeon crawl rooms, cohesive puzzles, magic items or equipment, using a 4 to 6 hour one shot, Seer's Sanctum. If that, like, I do love the art here. The layout's actually very good for a print one. I love the honesty of the actual, the self-awareness of this campaign. Anyways, I think this is phenomenal. I think if you're a first-time creator who's largely doing this for fun and to get your project out in the world, which I think Zine Quest is a big part of, this is a prime example of what your campaign could and should look like, with some really cool, like, high-level upgrades. Like, do you want to spend $100 to get an eyeball miniature, or $250 to get a Grand Watcher miniature? I just think it's great. I'm just gonna do $1 on this campaign. Like, I don't know that it's for me. I'm happy to go buy the digital version actually separately, but we're still gonna back this campaign for $1. External Containment Bureau, member of the Brain Trust Discord, who did this game. They've told me about it a couple times. It's Eli, and I have not looked at a lot about this yet, but they're already well on their way to 196 backers. I know some other people who collaborated on this one. It's a really cool project, but it's basically you are playing as a group of paranormal investigators navigating bureaucracy, using this lightweight and hackable version of Forged in the Dark design framework. You play as trained agents in an organized and tasked with the study, identification, and containment of paranormal phenomenon. We've got an actual play here, which, guys, you should be trying to do this, even if it's just featuring the combat system, if it's a link out. Most people will never actually click this because they're not necessarily going to want to watch the entire length of it, but you should have done it and be able to link to it if you have. It's one of the things we love to do with creators. If you have a game coming up, I don't have any more space this month, and even into next month, we're already booked, but I would love to feature your and play your game sometime with you if you don't have anybody else who's gonna help you do an actual play. The work of the external Containment Bureau is founded on 3 principles: identify, obscure, and contain. We're doing a little bit of world building. I like this art feel. I love iconic stuff. Trained agents of the Bureau right here. We're seeing a little bit more about it. Redacted material license, which will let you, it's an SRD, so it'll let you create your content in there. The pledge levels, stretch goals. We've got Julian's work is seen on, so the person who did their art also did Alice is Missing, which is great, from Hunter's Game. By the way, If you've been watching Gods of Metal Ragnarok, the Kickstarter project, which is phenomenal, not a Zine Quest, we are going to be doing an actual play with the staff from Hunters on Thursday in the middle of the day. It does mean our Zine Questing will be either an early evening, but probably a morning Zine Questing on Thursday, because I'm going to be playing as a God of Metal on Thursday afternoon. Anyways, great things from Eli. I'm going to click save for right now. I want to come back and spend more time with this campaign before I decide what I want to back it at. I've already got it saved. Excellent. All right. I backed something here. Oh, I know what I backed here. Let's see. Vampire Cruise. If you got a job on the garbage barrage last year, this is the same creator. Vampire Cruise. A rules light OSR style adventure vacation. 30 pages of maps, mummies, mutiny, and every kind of vampire. I think we're going to have Amanda on to play with us in March. This is a good just graphic video. Nice backtracking. It's a very long video. I want to watch the whole thing, but I think we're going to cruise down. Get it? Cruise down. Thanks. Luxury Death Trip. So created by Amanda Lee Frank. Two created, two backed. Amanda did You Got a Job on the Garbage Barge last year, which I didn't get at the physical level, and I feel like a dummy for, because Amanda also does the art, and it is gorgeous. I've already backed this game. I backed it at the print and PDF level. Amanda also included a vampire portrait that you could say was a picture of one of your vampiric ancestors, and I absolutely love that, so I backed it at the $30 level. Again, pushing up to a slightly higher level and backing some other ones at lower levels. That's a choice I'm starting to make more and more, because I love to see the stretch goals people are doing. You've heard stories from the ship. You've heard stories the ship was dredged from the sea floor and they had to clear out buckets of drowned fish before building staterooms. Stories about the captain who's never seen before midnight, about the unsettling shape of the boxes that were loaded into the darkness of the lower decks. The crowd waiting to embark doesn't seem worried, though, and before you know it, you're relaxing by the pool, ocean sparkling all around, and you're not worried either. Until breakfast, when you share a table with the woman who told you all the rumors. Now she's wearing a white silk robe and handing out pamphlets saying, "Is death real?" on the cover. You can't find your aunt, and you wake up woozy in your cabin, clutching a note you don't remember writing that says, "Deck 13 at noon, bring something sharp." On the other hand, there's a ping pong tournament. Vampire Cruise is a supposedly fun thing you'll have to do for eternity. Look at this art. Look at this art. Look at it. D20 vampire backgrounds. A lot of the different content. Very, very simple, basic campaign. A lot went into the thing. Just a big art feel up front. I am very excited about this game. And again, if you didn't get a job on the garbage barge last year, you should. You should go find it digitally and get a copy of it. I'm still trying to track down a physical copy. Vampire Cruise is going to be one I think people will regret if they don't get it. How many reviews will I be releasing of Zine Quest? It depends on whether you mean polished reviews or these kind. I will probably cover about 10 games every day, taking off Saturdays or Sundays, one of the two. And that'll be a whole lot. So it depends on whether you mean polished reviews or published or just these quick ones. So, but over 200 total Zine Quest projects I will look at. All right, Paradox and Possibilities, a time travel RPG. Somebody recommended this one to me. I have not looked at it yet. Travel into the perilous depths of the fourth dimension. When do you want to go? An OSR tabletop RPG. OSR is old school Renaissance. That could mean it is a dungeon crawl. It could also mean it is just informed by old school principles, or the Principia Maxima by Ben Miller and some other folks. Or the Principia Apocrypha, rather. I'm very picky about videos. I don't know if this one's doing what it's intending to do. Like it's trying to ramp up, like this from the score and everything. But it's not actually giving me like this is what I want to do. Get my own time machine, go on adventures everywhere and everywhere and every when. Starter adventures, character classes, weapons and items. Are you ready to travel in time? Cool. All right. A vendor wildly pressed buttons. Either they knew what they were doing, or vibrations rippled through the time machine. The coward curled up into a ball. The educator watched the dials with concern. The friend grappled with the teenager's arm, but the teenager himself let out an excited whoop. With a violent thud, the world outside the craft burst into a plethora of colors. Spirals of light and dark sliced apart. Stars and planets blurred into nothingness. What could and couldn't be. Wind brushed past their cheeks as the time machine bounced against the time waves. The engine pulsed, catching their breaths in its rhythm as they all began the journey of a lifetime. So we're trying to evoke H.G. Wells' time machine type adventure. Roll through your dice, a step through time. Paradox Impossibilities is a complete standalone RPG, so it's a unique system. Plays one of 6 time traveler classes, a time machine that your party builds, fleshing out mechanics for exploring times. 2 adventures included. Adventures where your party and their creativity comes first, which is an OSR principle: player skill trumps character ability. You're rewarded for your exploration. Combat is exciting but dangerous. Okay, so if you're going to create your own system, which you should, I mean, I do. I'm very excited about the system we've created for Repugnant. By the way, link for that down below. Our RPG coming out next Monday. But I need to know more about it early on. Like, I need you to tell me very early on a little bit more about it so that I know what it is, so I can decide if I think it sounds like a good system. If you're not creating your own, if you're doing a module, just kill on theme. But tell me a little bit earlier what it is you're doing. I like a lot of the flavor that they've created with this. My only critique of this page is it feels like it's taking me too long to get to the information that I want in order to make a decision. I love this art. I think this art is phenomenal. Do I have an actual player how to play? They're killing it as far as stretch goals go. That's a lot of stretch goals. Here's the team that put it together. Okay, so I'm not so I could have missed it, right? I did a quick look through. I'm gonna save this one. I'm gonna come back to this one when I'm not live on stream. I'm gonna look specifically for the information on how the system works, because that's what I need to know to decide if I want to play this game. Right now, this looks far more like a PBTA with low health, which I love PBTA, than it does like an actual OSR system. Now, that doesn't mean anything, but if you're creating a new game, I want to know what it is. Hold on, I've got a small person who's a full-sized teenager next to me. Yes, son. Yep. iPad and Apple Pencil right there. Go ahead and grab that. Ask your mom to unlock it for you. All right, perfect. So that's what I would want to know on this campaign. I'm interested in it. I think this could be a really fun thing. I need to know more about it. Peculiar Children came out yesterday. And if you're the creator of this game watching, drop me a message. I would love to know more about it. Like, I very seriously. Peculiar Children, immediate vibes. Immediate vibes are Miss Pergerine's Home for Peculiar Children. Is that what it's called? Like, immediate vibes. A Peculiar Children is a micro RPG about children with bizarre powers that uses a D8 pool system. And in comparison to last time, I know everything I need to know about this game to know if I'm interested in it. I am interested in the theme. This image might be disturbing for some people. I love it. Peculiar Children is a micro RPG that uses a D8 dice pool to decide the fate of a band of children with unique and bizarre powers outcast from society. These children and teenagers have to face off against dangers, both paranormal and mundane, that threaten their existence. It's by my Miss Pergerine's Home for Peculiar Children in terms of theme, and the Year Zero engine as utilized in Tales from the Loop, which comes to mechanics. Look at everything I need to know. Really easy use of stock art for this also too. So we got they're going to add in some pre-generated characters at 500 stretch goals. This is a very subtle and cool image. Very awesome. I'm super excited about this one. It's a unique system. Ooh, so many good UK games this year. This is the hardest thing. I would love if somebody in the UK was just like, we will receive your Zine Quest projects and then send them to you all at once with just one shipping charge. That would be phenomenal. I would love that. I'm going to click on the physical, but we may come back and change this. Beakwood Bay. This is a Brindlewood Bay hack. I have wanted to play Brindlewood for a while now. Brindlewood is a mystery RPG, kind of Agatha Christie, Murder, She Wrote style game where you play as a bunch of old ants solving mysteries, but also lots of them are vaguely like Lovecraftian and other things like that. This one takes that and it puts a DuckTales, a woo-oo spin on it. The cool thing is, as the GM, contrary to almost any other sort of investigatory process, you don't have to have the solution to the problem. People like consistently build clues around what the mystery is, and then they roll to see if they got it right or not, if they actually solved it, which is a very cool way to do a mystery RPG. Again, not one I've played, but one I always want to play, and I should just contact the creator and see if they'll come on and play it with me sometime. I don't know why I haven't. This is actually one of the first Brindlewood Bay hacks I've seen on Kickstarter. I've seen other ones, but on Kickstarter. I was a huge Darkwing Duck fan and a huge DuckTales fan. I'm very excited to see these things get combined. I think there's a great feel for the way that those two things can fit together. I love this art that they're showing. Carved from Brindlewood is the name of the SRD for this. That's not like thrilling, but I'm getting a sense of one of the merit badges that you can get for heroic acts that give you some special abilities. This is very cool. Again, very cool art. I don't want to see a little bit more on the layout from this one. You're absolutely going to back this game. The complete Beakwood Bay. Get the physical zine, the digital zine, all delivered through. Oh, so they have both a physical and a digital level separately. I'm going to click the $20 level, but I'm probably going to come down and downgrade that. I am very excited about this game. It looks very, very good. I would encourage you to go check it out and decide what level you want to back it at. All right. It came from the message board. And I've got a couple. We're going to go back up here and chat and grab. I know I've been on for a little bit longer today, but we went short yesterday. I'm going to grab those in just 1 second. It came from the message board. Pull your next quiz straight off the message board. 25 new
You've come to
adventures.
beg for more time, have you? Well, you will not be getting it. Your loan is due. Time is up. It looks like it'll be mining pits for a whole lot of you.
Nah, we got it. Here you go. Paid with interest.
Oh, how did you ragtag dogs manage such?
It's just a little bit of narrative. We have to ask ourselves when we're doing videos what we're looking to add and how we're looking to do things there. There is nothing wrong with just doing an image. Make sure you're very clear with what's happening. I would have subtitled this video. I think they're just giving a little bit of narrative flavor here, which is what I'm looking for primarily in a video. This one needed subtitles because of the heavy accent work. It's funny, it's good, but you want things to be clear because you don't want to give people a reason to click away from your page. It came from the message board as a DM supplement for 5th edition OGL, but can be easily converted for use with any fantasy system. This is a 5e supplement. We all know what I think about 5e supplements, or if you don't, here's what it is. Be a good 5e supplement is first and foremost. Do a good job supporting 5e because that's what you are. Secondly, provide something that makes me want to back you even if I don't play Dungeons & Dragons or Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. Those are the things I'm looking for in a 5e supplement. As a DM, we've all had this time where your party's in a city and they don't have a great way to transition into the next adventure. When those moments when you start out, the message board is your answer. Propelling the story forward with renewed energy. It contains 25 quests that basically you can post up on a message board that give an outline of the adventure at different levels. They're actually doing a couple different tiers of like the different types of quests, the different difficulty of quests for the different types of levels that people are at. They've got a couple different reward levels, and then here are their upgrades. Laminated cover, additional quest, early access, additional quest, team members, Brett, Thomas, and David. David, loving that flower beard. You got my attention. This is part of Drifter's Atlas. Drifter's Atlas has been in a lot of great community building, putting out a lot of great 5th edition supplements. I think this is good overall. I don't know that it's giving me the second thing that I'm looking for. I know I could use these in any fantasy system, but I'd be looking for a little bit more on what are you giving me that isn't D&D specific besides adventure ideas, which is enough. But I would like to see a little bit more in that area. I think this is probably just a save game for me right now. I'm going to come back to it and check it out a little bit more later. But I don't know if I'll back it. That said, if you play Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition, I think this is an absolutely phenomenal resource that you should check out, that you should look at. I also think people should consider doing things like town message boards in cities more often. I think this is a sharp idea. I actually, if they had just wrote this as system agnostic, would probably be far more inclined to back it. And it may seem weird that that's a barrier for me, but it is. And if that makes me a bad person, I am sorry. Then I'm a bad person. But that's how I feel about it. I would love to know what you guys think, though. Tell me in the chat how you guys feel about that kind of stuff. Adam, did you ever drop me a link for Wisp, or am I gonna have to look it up? Oh, Adam, it's okay. I'll look it up. Wisp. Wisp. I'm going to guess this is it. Adam recommended this one. Adam's been on most days with us. A 2-player TTRPG about the will of Wisp leading a mortal through a bog, which actually immediately kind of reminds me of Token that we already talked about this one, but in a very different way. There's more than one way to put a person in a bog. I love this art. I love this flower work especially. This use of a single sentence to create something that grabs my attention is good. Menagerie of the Void did it the best so far, this Kickstarter, but this is a very good one also, too. Comes from Ontario, Canada. Adela Grace first created zero-backed because I have the recommendation of somebody I know who I appreciate. I would not hesitate to back something from a first creator zero-backed in this situation because I know that they're involved in the community in other ways.
A 2-player TTRPG about the developing relationship between a mortal and a will-o'-the-wisp wandering through a bog. This video is an actual play scene from a game I played with Fry from False Fable Games.
All right, I'm going to pause real quick. So I was curious why they put it down below. It's 5 minutes long, right? But they immediately start with, here's what this is. And they took the actual play that they had done with some friends and they reduced it down to 5 minutes, which is hyper-consumable. And I'm not going to watch it all with you right now. But I will come back and watch this entire series.
Just a quick caveat, you'll notice our characters are named in this scene because they were actually characters created for a different game. In a regular game of Wisp, neither character is named. Anyway, thank you for checking this page out and enjoy.
Let's just get a little bit of the...
So I think what happens is...
Just audio. Okay, cool. This video is actually an animated scene play. Oh, very cool. So they animated parts of this. Let's take a little bit of a look at that.
It's another flash of fear and then that petulant anger.
This is very cool.
Suddenly the wisp disappears and
a little bit of flavor right here. Very simple project. Mobile Frame Zero, Firebrands, The Quiet Year, Fiasco are all things that informed this. I love all those games. Excellent example of flow of play down here. This almost looks a little bit like a face too, which I just kind of like, and maybe accidental, but I love it. Mood scale for the mortal, mood scale for the mortal. Mood scale for the wisp. You can kind of determine what you want in advance. Very cool. I like this. I'm backing a lot more 2-player games this year also too, by the way. Adam, if you're still watching, please let, it's Adele, right? Please let Adele know if she wanted to come on and do a stream, like I'd be totally psyched to play this game at some point in the next few weeks. One-on-one games are really easy because I can just book them with the creator and it's a lot easier for me to schedule just like at a time that makes sense for the two of us. And so I'm happy to do that. If you think they'd be interested in, I'll message you also too to see in case you're not here still. It was a very cool game, physical plus card deck. So there's a card deck option also too, and there's only 50 of them. I want to find out more about that card deck. Here we go. That's very cool. I'm going to actually click that higher level real quick. All right, that's it. Those are the ones I saw early on that people mentioned. Yeah, a lot of cool one-on-one games. Dan. I saw you mentioned it a couple times. Other places you got a solo tactical espionage game. Come back, I'm going to open it up right now and just kind of on deck it for tomorrow. But I'm not going to have time to cover it today because we've already been on a little bit longer than we typically go. So for those of you still watching, if you have not yet, well, here's Dan's game, but I'm going to come back and talk about it tomorrow. So if you have not had a chance to yet, please go to ttrpg.link/grossrpg. It's for Repugnant RPG. It's our system. If you guys tell me in the chat right now that you want to see a preview of something cool, I will show you a preview of something cool from Repugnant RPG. But people have to tell me they want to see it in the chat. Otherwise, I am going to be done. Ancient Magic of the Ancient World. I'm going to queue that up for tomorrow, Jesse. So if you guys want to see something cool for Repugnant that we have not shown a lot of people yet, let me know in the chat. This is just me doing some queue up for tomorrow for some other games. It's a cool piece we decided. I haven't talked a lot about the system until yesterday when I did an interview. Okay, some people are saying yes. I got enough emotional affirmation that I'm going to go ahead and do it, and then hopefully John DeCampos doesn't get too mad at me because I was like, let's not spoil too much of this stuff in advance, and then I just go ahead and do it. So the mechanics of Repugnant are part of what we are calling the covered in chit system, right? So you will get, let me hop back over there so I can make sure. You will get a whole bunch of wooden chits. Sorry, not wooden chits. At default, you'll either print them out yourself and put them on cereal boxes because then that's a great reuse, reduce, recycle thing. Or we will have, if we all have a stretch goal, there'll be a chit board, like of actually pre-printed chits that are double-sided that you can use as your chits. There will also be a premium version from the Git that will have a laser-etched, like Dayglow green stained wooden chits, like this size, and you'll get a whole handful of these. And when you want to make a roll, which we actually call a throw, an FN throw, there are 3 types of FN throws that you do. There's a flop, a fling, and a flick. The flop is taking a handful of these that are determined by what specifically your character's race and mutation are, and from about 18 inches up, you flop them down on this hit sheet. So they'll land on this sheet of paper, which will be the inside cover. You'll detach it from the book or print it out separately, either whichever one you want to do. And where it lands on this sheet will determine some of the effects that happen. It's kind of this auricular knuckle bones quality. And so if you're doing something physical or overt, you flop. If you're doing something ranged or more intelligent, like a calculated behavior, you'll fling. You'll step about 6 inches away from the table and you'll fling them towards the sheet, simulating a ranged attack. If you're doing something complex and multi-step in the process, you're going to flick. You're going to put it on your thumb, and one at a time, you will flick your pieces. It'll be 1 point or 2 points. There'll be certain point thresholds that do things. Where they land on the hit sheet will also determine a little bit about what happens. I want you to see, like, John did such a phenomenal job with this. This is, these elemental blasts are earwax and mucus, body odor, and farts coming out of this guy. We're still trying to figure out these last little bits of what's going to go in here, but this is pretty much the finalized piece. This will be the hit zone piece. We've got to do a little bit of finessing on some of the sizes of this, but landing in certain zones will do different things that the collector, the GM, will read, but that you as the player will also kind of be aware of, so you can kind of aim a little bit if you want to. So that's a little bit about how the mechanics of this D2 system is going to work. Guys, I'm so excited to share Repugnant with you guys next week. This is a world premiere of how the mechanics are going to work, except for when I talked about it last night. But the hit sheet is brand new. John just finished it, but it'll be the inside cover. It'll be kind of this bright green color to match our cover. I'm so excited about this project and cannot wait to get it finished and out to you guys. We're closing in on all the artwork being done, and I'll be able to do it. We're also leaving some blank spaces in the campaign. If you haven't yet, go to ttrpg.link/grossrpg, and that'll take you right to our Kickstarter follow page, and click that follow level and to let us know that you're excited about it. So I'm super excited. Even if you want to do a channel, if you've been encouraging our Zine Questing coverage, share Repugnant out, please, and encourage people to do it. It'd be all the payment in the world that I need for killing myself for a month. No, for going through projects this month. We'll be Zine Questing tomorrow. We're doing an interview with Bats about the Nerve project, which I am super excited about. By the way, if you haven't backed Nerve on Kickstarter yet, Nerves Kickstarter. It's about elevating the conversation around tabletop role-playing games to a standpoint of art. It is about $2,300 away from funding. I am incredibly excited about it. We bought ad space in it. I'll up that ad space if they get close but aren't quite there. I would love for there to be a quarterly zine about tabletop role-playing games as art. Bats is doing a great job putting that stuff together and is constantly being exciting. No, John saw me share it. Oh no, I'm in trouble. So come back for that. Tomorrow night, I'm going to be talking to Laura from the Trans Rage RPG anthology about the design process for that. We're also going to talk a little bit about representative games that are created with a certain worldview and creator emphasis in mind, and who can and should play those games. I'm excited about that conversation. I'm intimidated by that conversation. I'm nervous about that conversation because I want to do justice to the vision that Laura has created in the anthology that they've made, and it's not one I've had before. Even when we started to break that conversation open in the Brain Trust RPG, it was challenging to navigate, and I love that everybody there was so generous around sharing their thoughts and ideas with me, and that Laura's going to come on and just talk about design in general, because that's what we talk about on the Prestige class interviews. But I'm super excited about that. And then on Thursday, we haven't even not announced this yet, but I'm getting to play Gods of Metal Ragnarok with my friend Jesse from over at Quackalope, with Jeremy Gage from Draw Your Dice podcast, from Mike from the Missing Sock podcast network, and with the head of marketer from Hunters Entertainment. It's a phenomenal full color, big non-Zine Quest RPG that's out right now. We're going to have copies to give away that they're giving us to give to you in the future. You don't have to be live on stream to get that. We'll have announcements about how you can win those later on. But if you're not following us on YouTube or Twitch, you should. Lots of great stuff coming up this week. I have put too much stuff on my plate. I cannot keep on going at this speed, but I'm going to go until I probably break a little bit. But just a little bit. Not a lot. Again, if you want to help support what we're doing, number one thing you can do is just share out ttrpg.link/grossrpg. We would love to do that, to have you support us in that campaign. Please do take breaks. I do take breaks. My breaks are actually like, it's interesting. Like, I love these ones, are super life-giving. Like, I'm actually an extroverted introvert, so the daily streams with you guys, which I love that we have like 18 to 20 people who tune in every single day in the middle of the afternoon just to watch me talk about Kickstarter projects. These ones are the most life-giving for me. The interviews are really life-giving. They're very easy. I schedule them during the day. They don't take away from my family or my downtime. They do take away from my creative time, but they don't take away from my downtime. I will take breaks. Like, once Zine Quest is over, we're just going to go back to actual plays for a couple of weeks. We've got 2 or 3 scheduled for early March, but that's it. And then at the end of March, we'll kick in. But yeah, I would love it. If you guys are a creator, you want us to feature your game, make sure you drop it. We would love to talk about it. If you're a small creator who wants us to feature your content, please do. We are going to try to figure out a way. We have an editor who helps us with all of our Potlush content, who's currently doing it all for free. The money we make at plus1exp.com, if you buy something there, actually goes to help pay them. But I think we're going to set up a coffee for them. I was going to call it Ko-Fi because that's what it's spelled. Anytime we do a polished review, people will be able to basically kick in $1. It'll keep the content creation free for the creator, for the game designers, but let people support our editor. So there's some ways coming up that you guys can support what we're doing, but I don't even know how I feel about that. He and I are going to sit down tonight and chat more about it, because I really want him to get paid for the work that he's doing, because he's creating just a ton of content as part of this, absolutely free, and lost 2 of his jobs recently, because he's a social media management and content creator, and Right now, no one has money, and they think they can do all that stuff themselves. So we're paying them a little bit. I'd like to pay them better. So keep an eye out for that stuff. But don't worry about any of that. First and foremost, go back great creators and the awesome work that they're doing. Back Repugnant if you can. Go and remember, $28, 28 days over the course of February. Just try to back one small creator, $1 or £1 at a time. But until next time, my name's Tony Vicinda, and I'll be Zinequesting. By the way, this music is by Bats, who we're going to talk to tomorrow. By the way, James, yeah, no, for real. Again, that's just my feedback. This James is the creator, developers of Possibilities and Paradoxes. Absolutely, I want people to back your game. I want to back your game. Message me, like seriously, drop me a message, and let's chat. Like I'm happy to do a detailed breakdown of what I would love to see, or just make the changes and shoot it over to me. I'll cover it again and talk about what I love about it again, because it looks like a great system. I love the concept. I love the themes. You're trying to communicate a lot. There's just a couple key pieces I want. So you're making a phenomenal game. Like I want to be able to feature that phenomenal game in a way that does it justice. And so thanks for watching. And let me know when you make those changes, and I'll feature you again. Absolutely. More tunes. He can't stop people. He doesn't know how to leave. Trapped in the stream.